All right, we are back in the greenhouse. We are back at another week of 3 begonias. And I'm so happy you are here. Hey, before we get started, just a couple things. I need each of you, if you haven't already, go over to Facebook and find The Angry Gardener and like that page. Follow me there. I'm trying to grow my presence on other social media platforms so I can spread myself to the world. Anyhow, that would be great if you could do that. I'm there. I'm also on Instagram, but I don't do that very much. So, find me if you want. Otherwise, Facebook is the spot to be. Hey, before we get going onto these 3 begonias of the week, let's take a look and see what I've got going on in my prop corner. All right, here we go. All right, well, I did go through and I cleaned this up kind of, maybe, sort of. And now it just kind of looks I don't know. I need to get my life in order and make better choices. Anyhow, here's that, oh, I'm just kicking random things. Here's that prop box that we created. Not a lot going on in here. Not a lot dying. Some leaves melting. Some begonias over in this corner. Looks like there could be some life on some of those, some new growth, but it hasn't been long. So we will give it some more time, more light, and just see how things go. A few rehab things going on over here. Trying to get these things back to, I don't know, a status of excitement. What a sad, sad world. Oh, this here. Let's see if we can pop into this. Hang on. Okay, and I'm back. Check out that little guy. I have a plantlet from a leaf cutting. I'm very excited. Now the thing is to wonder, is that a listata or is that a withlacuchi? I'm kind of hoping it's a withlacuchi because my withlacuchi doesn't have a lot of coochie going on. So, but if it's listata, well, then I have another listata. Hey, some excitement though. In this bin here, a while back, I put this little 2-inch pot. I was trying to water propagate a luxurians, and it just completely dissolved and melted away. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to put there was still a little bit of juice in the plant material, so I packed it in moss and I put it in this little black 2-inch pot and I threw it in my little bin. Well, a couple weeks ago, these big old leaves shot out, and I'm like, what the heck is that? That didn't recognize, it didn't spark any memory as I ramble over my words. But then this week while I'm at work, look what came out. A nice palmate leaf. That's a luxurians. So I have another one. I'm very excited. Anyhow, we'll get to some of the other things in this little prop box. My own little homemade humidity dome with pieces from the $1.29 store. We'll get back to these in the coming weeks, but for now, let's move on to this week's 3 begonias. All right, so that was kind of it's kind of a mess. I have not been spending nearly as much time, and it seems like every time I'm in the greenhouse, I am futzing with powdery mildew. I went through and just chopped a bunch of stuff. If you've been following us over the last few weeks, you know that this is not my first venture with the clippers and some of these plants. So, however, my first begonia of the week is the Begonia DREGEI. Isn't that a sad looking little beast? This was, I'm telling you, absolutely gorgeous when I got it. I got it at Arium down in Portland, an amazing little shop to little. They have all kinds of things. Parking lot is little. The shop itself is pretty decent sized. I enjoy visiting them, and this is where I got this. Now, that's what it looked like. Then we had some issues, cut things back, dropped a lot of leaves. The Begonia DREGEI is also known as the maple leaf begonia, because it'll get these little tiny maple leaf shaped leaves on it. The one thing that really drew me to this species hails out of South Africa, and as it grows, it creates a swollen, I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong, codex. Creates a swollen base. Watering this guy, you have to be careful. Because it's got that swollen base, it's going to absorb and hold a lot of water. So, well, any begonia and most plants in general, don't overwater, don't overwater. This one probably a little more specifically. Make sure that dries out. South Africa species. But this almost had no leaves, and now it is coming back. You can see where I cut it. And so I hope in the coming weeks, coming months, for this to go very nicely. Otherwise, well, plant purchase opportunity. I will find another one because I really like this. And I do like, once it gets going, take and look this up. Some of the pictures, it really looks like a little bonsai. You know, who doesn't want a little bonsai in their house? It's an amazing little plant. Anyhow, let me figure out what I did with the clicker, and we'll move on to our next begonia. All right, for our first begonia of the week, we're going back in the house and into a terrarium. This begonia that I'm going to show you was my first, I'm going to call it a terrarium begonia. It was told to me that it would do well in a terrarium. I don't believe it needs to be in a terrarium, but with the right lighting and a terrarium, it will thrive. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so the begonia I'm talking about is Begonia Rondeau. That is this begonia right here, back in the corner of my terrarium. It's also known as the painted leaf, along with a few other things. I have not been successful in finding any information out about it, other than everyone agrees it has amazing color. This is a rhizomatous begonia. And check out the back of the leaves. Let's see if I can, well, that's kind of difficult. But here, this one, you can see a portion of the rhizome as it just climbs and grows across, and it will eventually grow up the side of my terrarium. I bought this as a little 4-inch, well, it was a 2-inch plug that they just put into a 4-inch pot. I moved it into a terrarium and it thrived. It was too much for that terrarium, so I moved it into this larger one, and it continues to impress me. I just stand here and I will stare at it. Look at those colors. I'm telling you, the Begonia Rondeau, if you want something that is got some color, that looks amazing, that grows well, this is one I would recommend. All right, let's get on to the next one. All right, and our final begonia of the week, we are going into that terrarium that I made when we had our terrarium event for the Pacific Northwest chapter of the American Begonia Society. And while the lighting here just really doesn't do a lot of justice for this, we've got 3 little guys in here, and the one that I added first, or that was first on my list when I found it, wait and see. And here we are. Begonia Prismatocarpa. Prismatocarpa? You know what? I've got most of the letters. Yeah, Prismatocarpa. Yes. And the thing that really drew me to this begonia, Well, one is it's a terrarium begonia, but it has, and you can't really see it here because it's not open. It just finished flowering, but it has these amazing yellow-orange flowers. This is a small little growing begonia, wonderful for a terrarium. Oh, look at the roots. It seems to be very happy in there. It's evening, so moisture is now collecting on the side of the terrarium jar. And that's a good thing. That tells me that there's enough moisture in there. In the coming weeks, we may visit the other two begonias, which are growing much slower, but they're growing. And you know what? If this terrarium just filled with this, I think I'd be happy. Though this is probably the cheaper of the three that I got. So Prismatocarpa, this is from a species from the Ivory Coast, Cameroon area, or Ivory Coast and Cameroon. I don't know what it means to say Ivory Coast. So in my head, I'm thinking that's Africa somewhere. But Prismatocarpa. And there you have it. All right, so there we have it. 3 begonias, another week. Check back. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that. And then you'll be notified when I put out another video. Pretty exciting. We do have more begonias to go through. However, my schedule is kind of full, so I'm not sure if I'll get to a begonia episode this next week. But stay tuned, because I still have a number of begonias to go, and I have some begonias. This Jean Daniels, I'm not sure if you can see that here. Do you see that? Well, we don't know. I don't know either, because I'm not seeing what you're seeing here, and I'm just going to put my head up here as I adjust this. There needs to be a way to better do this. Well, I just don't know what the hell I'm doing. Okay. Anyhow, begonias, begonias, begonias. Thanks for watching.